it's me, Miss Maya, and this is Bethel Kids Online.
Hey everybody, it's me, Pastor Natalie, and today we're going to be learning about obedience. Now I know that's a hard thing for us sometimes is to obey, but God wants us to obey Him and God wants us to obey our leaders. And we're going to find out in our story today that when Israel decided to obey God, some pretty cool things happened. So are you ready? Let's get into today's lesson.
Hey Bethel kids, I'm so excited to be doing the memory verse with you guys today. We're going to do it a little bit different this time. The verse 2 times, we're going to do it with the motions that we learned a couple times ago. The last time, I'm going to do the motions and I want you to say the words at home. So let's practice these first 2 times together. Goes like this. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. Okay, let's try one more time together and then I want you to say the words by yourself. Ready? The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. Okay, last time. I'm gonna do the motions. I want you to say the words at home. Let's do this. Did you get it? Awesome! Keep practicing.
For the past few weeks, we've been talking about different judges in the Bible and how through their obedience to God, God used them to do incredible things for the nation of Israel. Today, we're going to be talking about a story that happened before the judges, before Israel even was in Israel. Today, we're going to be talking about Joshua. After Moses died, Joshua took over leading the Israelites in the wilderness. Under the Lord's guidance, Joshua and the Israelites set off to take the land of Canaan as their own. One day, Joshua was walking near the city of Jericho. When he looked up, he saw a man standing in front of him with a sword in his hand. Joshua walked up to the man and said, "Are you for us or are you for our enemies?" The man replied, "Neither. I am the commander of the Lord's army. I have just arrived." When Joshua heard this, he dropped to the ground, face down, and worshipped. He asked, "What orders does my master have for his servant?" God's army commander replied to Joshua and said, "Take the sandals off your feet, for the place you are standing is holy." So Joshua took off his sandals. God spoke to Joshua and told him that he was going to give the city of Jericho over to Joshua and the Israelites. But at this time, the city of Jericho was sealed tight. It had big walls surrounding it, so no one could come in and no one could go out. But that didn't stop God. God told Joshua what he needed to do to take the city of Jericho. God told Joshua to take the army and to have them march around the city of Jericho one time every day for 6 days. He told Joshua to have 7 priests walk in front of the Ark of the Covenant. And God told Joshua to have each one of those priests carry a ram's horn. And then God told them that on the 7th day, the priests and all the Israelites were again supposed to march around Jericho, but this time 7 times. And all that time, the high priests are supposed to be blowing their ram's horns, their trumpets. Then God told Joshua that on the 7th time around the building, when the priests let out the last ram's horn, that all the people are supposed to shout as loud as they can. God told Joshua that if they obeyed him, the walls of Jericho would collapse and the Israelites would be able to rush in. Joshua listened to what God said, and he gathered all the Israelites together, and they began to obey God's instructions. Joshua, the Israelite army, and the high priest began to walk around the city of Jericho. But Joshua gave the Israelites strict instructions that they weren't to make a sound. They were not even to speak, not even whisper. The priests and their ram's horns, the Israelite army, Joshua and the rest of the Israelites began to march towards the city. And every single day, for 6 days, they walked around the city of Jericho. On the 7th day, the Israelites were getting ready to walk around the city of Jericho 7 times. But the walls of Jericho were still as strong as they had been the last 6 days. I bet the Israelites were beginning to wonder, is this going to work? Is God really going to fight this battle for us? But they obeyed, and they walked around the city of Jericho 7 times that day. And on the 7th time, they all shouted, they blew their trumpets, and they made as much noise as they could, just as God had told them to do. As the trumpets were sounding and the people were shouting, the walls of Jericho collapsed, and the Israelite army ran in and took the city for God. The people of Israel rejoiced and celebrated because God had fought the battle for them. Hey, Trey, you think I can fit in that cabinet?
Absolutely not.
I believe with God all things are possible. I'm gonna try.
Okay.
Let's see. Are you guys ready? Should I get my head in first?
I don't think you can get in.
I think I can. Let's see. Oh, halfway. Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
Sometimes things may seem impossible from the way that we're looking at them. But when we obey God, all things are possible. Like marching around a wall and having the walls fall down, or sitting inside this small cabinet. What?
That's right. Bye, guys.
Hey! Don't leave me in here! It's dark!
Thanks for watching this episode of Bethel Kids Online. Join us next week to see if Pastor Natalie ever gets out of that cabinet.